With the playoffs getting closer and closer, it has me thinking about some potential playoff matchups and World Series matchups. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today, as in today's video I'm going to be going over my top 5 World Series matchups that I would like to see. Real quick before we hop into the video, if you guys do enjoy this content, if you could subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated, as it helps me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. And I also want to mention that these are numbered 1 through 5, so number 1 obviously being what I want to see most, and so on and so forth. So let's get right into this. At number 5, I have the Blue Jays facing off against the Padres. Now this one is more of a personal pick, as preseason I had the Blue Jays facing off against the Padres in the World Series, so I'm sort of just hoping my prediction goes right. But outside of my personal prediction, this would be a very intriguing matchup. We obviously have the powerhouse Blue Jays, who are a very lethal offensive team to go along with a very good starting rotation. And of course the Padres, even without Fernando Tatis Jr., are still one of the most exciting teams in the league. And similar to the Blue Jays, the Padres have a very good starting rotation, probably a little bit better than Toronto, so I think this would be all around a very good series and lots of good baseball would be played. And I also have to mention that these two fan bases are some of the best in the league. They have huge fan bases. It would be very good baseball and the atmosphere would just be electric. So when you pair together lots of superstars and in a World Series atmosphere with two very good fan bases, you have some really good baseball. At number 4, I have the Mariners facing off against the Phillies. Now, out of all the potential matchups we're going to be looking at today, I think this is definitely the least likely one to happen. For those who don't know, I'm a really big Mariners fan. Obviously, I'm a Rockies fan first, but outside of Colorado, I really like watching Seattle because of King Felix and back in his days, and nowadays they're especially exciting to watch with Julio Rodriguez. And of course, you have the Phillies, who have been playing very good baseball without their best player in Bryce Harper. And obviously, when Harper does return, that makes them 10 times more exciting and even better than they are right now, so I would love to see Philadelphia make a deep postseason run. I love the duo they have of Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, and like I said before, Bryce Harper is so much fun to watch. I like JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, and Rhys Hoskins. So seeing Seattle in the World Series after not being in the postseason for 20 plus years would be just awesome to see, and it would be even better if they ended up playing Philadelphia, who in my opinion is one of the league's most exciting teams. At number 3, I have the Yankees facing off against the Dodgers. This one would be a nightmare for a lot of people, but I think it would be very fun to watch. You have two of the most storied franchises in baseball with lots of history behind them. And not only do they have lots of history behind them, but they're also obviously from LA and New York, two of the biggest cities in America, so they have huge fan bases on top of that. And both of these teams are powerhouses. The Dodgers have the best record in baseball, and the Yankees have fallen off quite a bit lately, but they're still World Series contenders in my opinion. This matchup would generate so much revenue. It's basically baseball's dream World Series at this point. Like, Major League Baseball would make so much money off of this. And this series has honestly been brewing up for a couple years now. The Yankees and Dodgers have been competitive over the past couple years, and we just haven't gotten that World Series matchup just yet. But this year, maybe it will happen. At number 2, I have the matchup of the Mets facing off against the Yankees. The Subway Series was electric enough in the regular season. I just can't imagine the atmosphere if they matched up in the World Series. The Mets did prevail, as they ended up sweeping the 2-game series against New York in late July. And the Subway Series is even really exciting when both of these teams aren't competitive, so the fact that these two are World Series contenders and could potentially match up in the World Series this year, it would make for a very interesting matchup. Now, we already talked about the Yankees a little bit. We know that they're a powerhouse. They're the Bronx Bombers for a reason. They hit plenty of home runs and they have lots of firepower. But the Mets are just as exciting. They're legit contenders, as they currently have the second best record in baseball, only behind the Dodgers. They have the offensive duo of Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor, and the two-headed monster in their starting rotation of Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom. Oh, and they also have the best and arguably most exciting closer in baseball today in Edwin Diaz. So this is a dream World Series matchup. Even though I'm not a fan of either team, I would still love to see this one. And at number 1, I'm sure many of you guys know this matchup at this point. It's the Astros and the Dodgers. With all the history behind these two teams, who wouldn't want to see this matchup? Like I just said with the Mets and Yankees, I'm not a fan of the Astros or Dodgers. In fact, I don't really like either team, but I would love to see this matchup, and it's the matchup I would love to see the most. Obviously, for those who don't know, the Astros cheated and won a World Series and basically stole it from the Dodgers back in 2017. And there are many players that are still on the Dodgers today who were on that 2017 roster who don't like the Astros at all. Although they're interleague and don't play very often, I would still say this is today's biggest rivalry in baseball. The few times I have played since 2017, it's been fireworks. There's been lots of players hit by pitches, and obviously you don't like to see that, but it brings for good baseball and is going to be a very good World Series matchup if it indeed does happen. And while I am over the cheating scandal at this point, it would still be awesome to see the Dodgers come out on top and take a World Series from the Astros. So there you have my 5 World Series matchups that I would like to see most this year. Let me know what you guys think down below. I want to see what you guys think and who you would like to see matched up in the World Series, because I had a lot of fun making this video. There were so many intriguing matchups. As always, I want to thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.